The WWE universe is buzzing right now, and it's not because of great storylines, it's because of yet again another questionable decision. So let's get into John Cena's final night in WWE and how things quickly fell apart for what was supposed to be a night to remember. In summer 2024, John Cena returned to announce his retirement farewell tour for the entire year of 2025. John Cena came up with the idea himself, after being inspired from retirement tours in other sports, such as Kobe Bryant's retirement tour. Kobe announced that 2016 was going to be his final year in the NBA and turned it into his great farewell tour, where he played a game and was honored in each city he went to, making it a real celebration of his career. Kobe's final game of his career was a night to remember with a 60-point performance and a big win. So John Cena saw what a great farewell tour Kobe Bryant and others had, and he wanted to be the first individual to bring that sort of retirement tour concept into the world of pro wrestling. We've never seen it done before in pro wrestling at all, so John Cena came to WWE with this idea, and they signed off on it. Originally, John Cena wanted to legitimately put his career outside of the ring and hold on and give one full calendar year to the WWE in 2025. He wanted to do over 200 dates for his farewell tour, but he claims that WWE informed him that he only needed 36, and that's what they went with. The great thing about a retirement tour in the world of pro wrestling versus other sports is that pro wrestling is scripted and predetermined. You cannot control the outcomes or matchups for a retirement tour in other sports. But in WWE, the creative team can literally lead the retirement tour in any direction they want. They're in full control of storylines, feuds, matchups, and everything in between. So everyone had high hopes coming into this year that this was going to be a full epic final year of John Cena's career. But it looks like the majority of fans can now look back at the fully completed tour and officially say it was a bit underwhelming from the first day to the final day. John Cena gave WWE and fans a heads up about the retirement tour 6 months in advance. And it feels like they still had nothing planned out ahead of time. No real direction mapped out for the retirement tour. It just felt like it was being winged from week to week. It's something we've touched on dozens of times throughout the year, but the big heel-turning moment and partnership with The Rock that eventually resulted in nothing at all, that felt like it was a waste of time for the audience, and a waste of time for John Cena's limited appearances. Cena was stuck in his heel persona that had no sense of direction, no story, all for nearly 5 months. They wasted nearly half the year on pretty much an empty heel persona that was going nowhere and had no payoffs. Did we get to see John Cena have one final match with some of the biggest rivals of his entire career? Yes, we did get to see John Cena face individuals like Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, CM Punk, and more stars for the final matches. But the issue with all those final matches right there is that none of those programs were memorable because they were all extremely rushed. They went by in a blink of an eye and had little to no story to their programs at all. And it's so weird because you look around and you see Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre entering month 6 of their feud. Aleister Black and Damian Priest have been feuding with each other for what feels like half the year. All these never-ending long feuds that are happening. But when it came to the big final matchups for John Cena, they had about 2 to 3 weeks together to build it up, and then it was over and on to the next one. So with the poor storytelling and rush build-up, it feels like we did not really get to digest those big final matchups for John Cena. It was all a blur, and no real memorable moments were created because everything was so rushed. Some fans didn't really like John Cena's final premium live event matchup because how it was booked and handled as well. A lot of fans assumed John Cena would drop the title to Dominic Mysterio there at Survivor Series, but they didn't expect John Cena to get jumped and attacked by Roxanne, Raquel, Finn, JD out of nowhere. Even Liv Morgan. Some fans found that to be a bit off and strange that John Cena's final premium live event appearance was a loss that looked like that. But fans were quick to move on from that loss because everyone was looking forward to John Cena's final match and expecting that to be a big proper send-off. And that brings us to December 13th, Saturday night's main event. John Cena versus Gunther in his final match. The energy was electric. It felt like a special night, but everything changed in a heartbeat following the actual result of the match. As John Cena was in a sleeper hold from Gunther, John Cena smiled at the camera and tapped out, marking his first tap out in over 21 years. This sent the arena into complete silence and devastation. And just a few seconds later, The current rosters and legends made their way to the ring to greet John Cena, and leading the pack was Triple H. The silence in the arena turned into thousands of boos aimed at Triple H, even with some vulgar chants aimed as well. The boos got even louder when John Cena greeted Triple H, and Triple H reacted to the boos and chants by laughing. This anger from the crowd translated to the post-show, where every single member of the panel was getting booed and cursed out by fans. Even if you were a babyface commentator like Big E or Michael Cole, you were still getting booed. The fans didn't want to hear a single word anyone had to say. This only got worse once Triple H stepped onto the panel himself. Lots of middle fingers, boos, and more chants were all being thrown Triple H's way. Triple H joked about it and said that he's actually disappointed because he was expecting the reaction to be much louder. Triple H defended the decision, but the crowd did not seem to care at all. There were chants for Vince McMahon to return, chants for AEW, even chants for LA Knight, who has been on the receiving end of some questionable booking decisions as well. Everyone knew John Cena was going to lose. It's a wrestling tradition for a star to lose on their way out. Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Goldberg, and even The Rock, when he first left WWE, they all lost their final matches. So that's normal. Everyone was expecting for John Cena to lose. But the problem that has everyone flowing with rage is the fashion and how he lost. If John Cena fades out to Gunther and doesn't tap, chances are that the backlash wouldn't have been that bad because that's a bit more respectable. Gunther still wants to win the match via submission. That part of the result is still intact. But what also would have been intact was John Cena's morals of never giving up. John Cena stayed true to the slogan he lived by, and the slogan he encouraged everyone else to live by. He did not give up. He just faded out, and that still gives Gunther the submission win. But for John Cena to smile and tap out, it felt weird. It felt forced. And that's why the backlash was to that magnitude. So the argument is not that John Cena should have won, but that maybe there was a better option on the table for that fashion and how he lost. That's what most fans are saying. If John Cena does not tap and fades out, sure, he still loses the match, but that young fan that's watching, they're going to remember that John Cena, even in defeat and punishment, did not give up. And those young fans carry that mindset and memory with them for life. But with what we saw at Saturday night's main event, what was the moral of the story? What was the life lesson there? That when things get tough, you just tap out? That goes against everything John Cena stood for, and it was going on 2 decades now. And it seems like that's the underlying reason why so many fans are so angry. But what will be interesting now is how much of this fan frustration actually sticks. Because John Cena himself predicted that everyone would forget about the final match after a few weeks and move on. But with how enraged fans are, it makes you wonder if this reaction, especially towards Triple H, is going to stick. Is the days of Triple H coming out and opening up a show to all this praise and cheers actually over now? Will Triple H get massively booed from here on out because of these recent booking decisions? He's definitely going to have to redeem himself in some way with this decision. But what are your thoughts on John Cena's farewell tour? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.